Welcome to our webinar today, Seeing Clearly, Addressing Vision Problems with the Bodycode. This is a Healer's Library Premium members-only webinar with me, your host, Dr. Bradley Nelson. I've been a holistic chiropractic physician now for 27 years, I realized. I went online and I typed it in. Said, well, let's see, I graduated in June of 1988, and so it's been almost 28 years. Getting old. Been a pioneer in holistic health, created the Bodycode system. I'm the author of the Emotion Code. International speaker, healer, and author. So I want to welcome you to the webinar today, wherever you may be in the world. And we're going to talk about vision and how to address vision with the Bodycode. Well, what is vision? First of all, it's the faculty of being able to see and perceive our surroundings using our eyes and parts of the brain. The visual system is included in the central nervous system. It's part of that system. We break things down in the Bodycode, and things are broken down in the medical world, the anatomical world as well. And vision is part of the central nervous system, and it helps us to process visual information. Now, various issues can arise with vision. We'll take a look at those, and then what we'll do is we'll take a volunteer or two or three on the call and take a look at any particular vision problems that might be going on to see if we can find out what the underlying reasons are. Okay? And I'll tell you what I believe about vision. Same thing I believe, and same thing that I say about everything else. If you have some kind of a symptom, there are underlying reasons. Maybe there's only one underlying reason for that symptom that you're experiencing. Maybe there are a few different ones. But I believe that that's the case with us. When we have a symptom of some kind, something's missing, or there's something going on in the body that's not right. And so using the Bodycode is a beautiful, simple, elegant way to identify those kinds of imbalances. So let's take a look. How does vision work? It all begins with light. Light illuminates and makes it possible for our eyes to begin to gather that information. And we're going to look now at the visual pathway. How does light get into the eye, and how do you eventually perceive that as an image? Well, light enters the eye through the cornea. And the cornea is that very, it's the clear part of the eye that if you look at the eyeball, it's a clear, kind of a thick tissue that is at the very front of the eye. Light passes through the cornea, and then it passes through the lens, and it travels to a layer of cells in the retina at the very back of the eye. And in that retina are little cells called photoreceptors. And here's the fun fact. The image on your retina is actually flipped upside down or reversed, just like in a camera. Okay? So if you're looking at somebody that's standing right side up, if you were to see that image at the back of someone's eye, they'd be upside down. So at the very back of the eye, we have these photoreceptors. Now, these photoreceptors are very, very highly specialized nerve cells that turn light into electrical signals. Think about that. Pretty amazing. There are two major types of these, rods and cones. Now, rods are very sensitive. They allow us to see in dim light, but they don't understand color. Cones are responsible for color and detail. So the easiest way to think of that is the word color starts with CO, and cones, that word, that starts with CO as well. So cones, just think cones, color. Rods are primarily black and white. And of course, the health of these cells is critical, or you're going to have a hard time seeing, or you're going to have some issues. So here we can see, number one on the far left, we have light entering into that very outermost layer of the eye, and that's the cornea. And then it passes through the lens, which is the blue area, baby blue. And the lens actually focuses that light that's coming in so that it's in focus when it hits the back of the eye. And that's, in the picture on the left, that's the layer that is in purple. Okay. Now, that little tiny area you can see is surrounded with a vertical rectangle. And on the right side of the image here, you can see that area is blown up. And you can think of these little yellow lines with the little yellow arrows as being photons of light, okay? And as those photons of light come into the back of the eye, they strike these cells, and a reaction occurs, an impulse is generated, and that impulse travels down nerves and goes all the way back to the back of your brain, and that's where the image is produced. So you can see here we've got cone cells that look green in this picture, green or red. We've got rod cells that are pictured here in gray. And sometimes when you're working with someone and you're trying to figure out a vision problem, it can be helpful to actually look at this level of detail. Okay? Now in the Bodycode, we don't go into this level of detail really, but the purpose of this webinar is to show you how you can go down to deeper levels of detail to try to figure out what the problem really is. And so I'll show you how that works here in a few minutes. So let's continue with the visual pathway. Here's another picture of the eye on the right side. You can see on the far right we have the cornea and then the lens and the retina in yellow. By the way, inside of the eye we have something called the vitreous humor. And the vitreous humor is it's basically a jelly. It's about the consistency of egg white, okay, that fills the eyeball. It's transparent and allows light to pass freely into the eye. So the information is processed at the photoreceptors on the retina, and then it travels down the optic nerve. So now let's see where that optic nerve goes. So here we have a view looking from the underneath side of the brain. And you can see in the front we've got the two eyeballs, kind of a creepy picture, right? But anyway, we've got the two eyeballs, and then coming back from each eye, we have the optic nerves, left and right. Now those nerves join together at the what's called the optic chiasm or chiasma, it says in the picture on the right. They travel from there down what's called the optic tract of nerves and into the lateral geniculate nucleus of the brain. And that fans out into the optic radiations, and those are the nerves that you see passing out there like little whips at the bottom of the brain there, really starting to be the back of the brain now. And then those nerves travel back to what's called the primary visual cortex, which is actually at the back of your head, back of your brain. That's actually where you're seeing. Isn't that interesting? So that's how it works. And hopefully this isn't getting into too much detail for everybody, but it's good to understand how it all works because it enables you then to better find imbalances that could be going on in any of these particular parts of the pathway. So you just never know. So again, here's a picture of the optic pathway that's blown up. Again, we have the optic nerves coming from the back of each eye. And what happens is the visual information from, for example, the eye on the right is actually then perceived in the back of the brain on the left and vice versa. So if you put your hand over one eye, go ahead and do this with me. Put your hand over one eye, have both eyes open. You're looking out of, let's say, put your hand over your left eye. So now you're seeing with your right eye only. That visual picture is actually being perceived at the back of the left side, back of your brain on the left side. So the information from the right eye is perceived on the back of the left side, okay? And that's why sometimes if people get hit really hard on the back of the head on one side, they might go blind in the opposite side's eye. That's just how this works. So again, the left brain processes visual input from the right eye. The right eye processes visual input from the left eye. And the optic chiasm is where all these nerves cross over and make their shift from left to right. So kind of interesting. Here we have a picture that just shows this in a little bit of detail. If you look at the very, very back of the brain on the left side of the photo, you can see that the object on the right side of the photo is being perceived on the left side of the brain, and so on. That's just how it's designed. Exactly why it's designed that way, I'm sure there was a reason, but I don't know. Now, the muscles of the eye are also very, very important. There are several tiny muscles that work to keep the eyes functioning properly and control movement. And you can see some of these, most of these, in fact, you can see all of these except one in this picture. So let's take a look at these. The muscle that's in the middle of the eye in this photo is what we call the lateral rectus muscle. Now, what we're seeing here is the right eye. Okay, so if you can just imagine, we're looking at the right eye and we're kind of just picturing graphically what's going on with that right eye. Now, what do you think would happen if that muscle, that lateral rectus, hopefully you can all find that one, it's right in the middle of the eye, okay, and starts at the towards the front of the eye, and then it attaches back to the back of the eye socket. If that muscle were to tighten, that would cause this right eye to track outward, wouldn't it? So if that muscle in the middle there, the lateral rectus, if it were to tighten, the eye would actually start to look right at the screen, like would look right at you, right? There's a muscle like that on the bottom called the inferior rectus. You can see that. It's the one on the bottom of the picture. At the top, there's another one called the superior rectus. And then there are a couple of other ones. So let me show you another picture here. But before we do, these muscles are energetically linked to the pineal gland. And so if the pineal gland is unhappy, the eye muscles may short circuit, and eye problems of different kinds could result. One of the things that you want to do, too, when you're really getting into detail with this kind of thing and working at a fine level of detail using the Bodycode, what you can do is you can look at each of these individual muscles, you see, and see if they're happy, if they're balanced. And if they are, great, and if they're not, you can figure out the underlying reasons why. So let's go to our next picture. And in this picture, I wanted to show you how you can actually see all of these muscles at one time. Oh, wait a minute. No, this picture. That's the one we wanted right here. Okay. Here we are looking at the very, very front of the same eye, the right eye. And if you've ever wondered about this, how the eyes are able to move from left and right and up and down and so on, we have all of these different muscles going on. We've got, if we look at the left side in the middle, we've got the lateral rectus that helps the eye to track out. And then opposite side, we've got the medial rectus those are the muscles that become activated. For example, if you put a pencil at the end of your nose and your eyes cross, those muscles are working really hard to try to bring your eye in towards the center. Okay? If we look at the very top of the picture, we've got the superior rectus. That helps the eye to track up. The very bottom, inferior rectus, helps the eye to track down. Then we've got a couple of oblique muscles. Okay? There's one called the superior oblique at the top, and that helps the eye to track in and down. And then there's an inferior oblique muscle at the bottom. It's kind of a little bit harder to see. It's right there on the lying right along the eye. When that one tightens, the eye tracks inward and up. So that's it. Now, a picture like this can be really, really useful. We couldn't include every possible part of the body in every level of detail in the Bodycode. It just would have been really impossible. But the purpose of our webinar today is to show you how you can find pictures on the internet and so on. You can look at things like this, okay? And you can actually put up a picture like this, and I used to do this in my practice. I'd put up a picture, I'd find a picture like this, and if I'm working on someone's eye, I would just ask, okay, are all of the muscles in this eye of yours, are all of these muscles happy? And the patient or the client's internal computer system knows if they're all happy or if any of them have a problem. And if they're not all happy, then you'll get a change in the muscle strength. and then you can then figure out which one of these is not happy. I'll show you how that works here in a minute. So there are many parts of the eye itself. They all have a specific job to do. Here you can see a great picture of all the different parts. And if any part of the eye becomes imbalanced, vision could be impaired, or pain might be present, in fact. And here you can see we've blown this up a little bit for you. We've got the pupil, which is the dark area of the eye that actually allows light to come in. The iris, which is the part of the eye that gives us blue eyes or green eyes or brown eyes or whatever. And there, of course, there's a whole science and practice behind just looking at the eye. It's called, of course, iridology. And they believe that all of the organs and the glands and different parts of the body are all reflected in the iris. So, in fact, a friend of mine used to do this for a living. He had a very specialized camera, a very high-resolution camera. He would take photographs of the pupils or the iris of people's eyes. Then he could actually just superimpose a map and tell them what was going on. And very accurate, very fascinating stuff. So anyway, we don't need to get into too much detail here, but this is what the eye looks like. All right. Now, some common eye problems are macular degeneration, which is caused by deterioration in the center of the retina. And that's a little area called the macula. And that's why they call it macular degeneration. Amblyopia is lazy eye. I think we all knew somebody probably when we were a kid that had a lazy eye. Astigmatism is an imperfection in the curvature of the cornea, so that when you look at the moon, you kind of see two moons instead of just one. Cataracts, clouding of the lens that happens oftentimes when people get old. A stye is a lump on the eyelid caused by an infected eyelash follicle. Sometimes people are colorblind. That happens. My father, for example, was colorblind, and if he hadn't been colorblind, I probably wouldn't be here, because he was destined to be a tail gunner on a bomber over Europe in World War II, but it turned out he was colorblind, and so he couldn't really identify enemy planes from friendly planes, and so they had him do something else. Conjunctivitis is pink eye, and that's where you get a infection, swelling of the conjunctiva. That's the white of the eye. The sclera is the white of the eye. The conjunctiva is that clear coating around the white of the eye. Dry eye happens sometimes. Farsightedness or hyperopia is where you can see things really clearly far away. Floaters can develop in the eye, and sometimes those are actually fungal. Sometimes they are just from proteins in the back of the eye that have kind of coagulated a little bit. Glaucoma is where you have improper pressure inside the eye. The pressure inside the eye goes up, and when you go to the eye doctor and they examine your eyes and they give you that puff of air, which is kind of uncomfortable, they're actually measuring the pressure in the eye, and that can damage the optic nerve and can cause blindness. Keratitis is where the cornea itself becomes swollen or inflamed, making the eye red and painful and affecting vision. There's macular edema, which is a swelling or thickening of that same area we talked about with macular degeneration, which is where the macula swells or thickens. That's that same area in the back of the eye, in the retina. Low vision is considered a loss of eyesight that cannot be improved with regular eyeglasses, medicine, or surgery. And that happens sometimes. Myasthenia gravis often starts with, and myasthenia gravis is a progressive muscular weakness. It's a neurological disease. Often starts with ocular myasthenia, where the muscles that control the eye and eyelid movement are imbalanced. So, nearsightedness, optic neuritis. Nearsightedness, of course, is where you can see up close, but you can't see far away. Optic neuritis is an inflammation of the eye's optic nerve. Sometimes people get twitching or eyelid spasm. It's also known as blepharospasm. That's an abnormal involuntary blinking or spasm of the eyelids. Now, sometimes there are some metaphysical issues going on too. I've seen in my own healing work. If, for example, you're unwilling to see, quote unquote, some kind of an issue, maybe there's something going on in your life that you don't like, you don't want to see that anymore, maybe it's a feeling or an event in the past or something that you're afraid of happening in the future, you might develop vision problems. And that's your subconscious mind's way of communicating to you that there is something you need to address. And that's how it is with everything, right? All the symptoms that we suffer from are all really caused by imbalances that are going on in the body. So remember to ask a question. You can click on the hand icon as shown at the right. And please call in on the telephone or use a headset with a microphone. And what I'm going to do at this point is see if maybe we can take a volunteer. And we'll just see if maybe someone has some kind of an eye issue going on that we'll just try to track down and see if maybe we can help it. And eye issues are, I would love to be able to tell you that yes, it's no problem. I mean, if you're nearsighted, you can use the Bodycode, and 100% of the time you can fix it. It has not been that easy, all right, for me. But we'll see what shows up today. Sometimes things with the eye can be kind of difficult. So let's see who we want to talk to today. First of all, let's see if we can talk to Deborah. Deborah, are you there?
Hi, Dr. Brad.
Hi. Thanks.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect.
All
Happy New
right.
Year.
Same to you. Are you in the UK? Where are you? Australia?
I'm in Spain.
You're in Spain. Oh, even better.
Yeah.
All right, great. So what's going on?
I've done a couple of sessions on my own vision. It's not anything too serious, you see, but it's just that my eyesight deteriorated quickly. I have recently turned 50, and my optician just says to me it's normal at my age. I don't like to listen to things like that. There's a lot of people my age that don't wear glasses or anything. And I had 20/20 vision up to about 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, I had perfect vision. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, it just started going. I mean, I was teasing about reading. My arms got too short to read because I kept having to hold the books further and further away. But
Right.
it was really quite sudden. And I wear glasses now, which, but I can't read anything without them, and I mean it's incredibly impractical. But I'm not in pain, and so I'm very grateful that it's not a more serious problem.
Sure.
But I'm a Bodycode practitioner, and I'm just convinced it's emotional, or I'm very aware of the metaphysical issues.
Mm-hmm.
Because my son has healed his own sight problems. Because he's happy with what he's looking at. So I'm very aware of all of that. But I have worked on it, but I've released some trapped emotions, but there's clearly something else there. So I would just love it if you could
Yeah, let's take a look.
Shine your expertise.
Okay. All right. Well, you never know. But let's take a look. So we'll take a moment. I'll ask for some help for us from up above, and then we'll delve in. So give me just a second here. All right, let's see here. Okay, Deborah, let's see if I've got a good connection. Can I act as proxy for you? And yes, I get a yes answer there. So let's go straight to the Bodycode. And it's, of course, this has kind of been in both eyes, right? Same thing?
Yeah. Both eyes.
Okay. So let's just ask this question. Is there an underlying reason why your eyesight is not what it was a few years ago? It was 20/20. You're having a hard time reading without glasses. Is there an underlying reason why your eyesight is no longer perfect? We'll say that. And I get a yes answer. Now, you can formulate these questions any way you want. You're just asking. It's kind of like doing a search query on Google, right? The more specific the question is, the better the answer will be. But that's what I'm getting here, is that there's definitely something. So there may be several reasons. And let me just type this in here. Reasons why your vision is no longer perfect. All right. And your body says, yes, there's a reason. So what's the first reason? Is it on the right side of our Bodycode here? No. It's on the left side. So is it in the energies area? Is it in circuits and systems? Or is it in toxins? Okay, there's a toxin showing up. And is it something on the left side of our map here or the right? So is it a heavy metal or some sort of an excess or something in the EM spectrum? It's something in the EM spectrum. So is it something on the left side of the chart here or the right? Is it color? Okay, so one thing that's showing up here is EMF or cellular radiation. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, all right. So what that means to me is that you know, you've been exposed to this, and of course we all get exposed to it all the time, especially if you have a cell phone. But that energy can stay in the body and imbalance things, and we can release it using the body code. So let's just see. I'm going to check and see if I've got a magnet here, and I don't see one, so that's okay, no problem. So do we need to know more about this? Not really. I'm going to go ahead and just use the fingertips over the head and to release that EMF cellular radiation. Yes. Okay, so now let me show you another way that you can do this. Okay. Another thing that you can do is you can actually, let's go back to our presentation here for a minute. And let's just for fun, let's look at this picture right here. This is kind of fun. This is a fun way to do this. What we're going to do here is we're going to say, all right, let's imagine that this is your right eye, just like it says in the picture. We could imagine it being your left eye, it doesn't matter. But let's imagine that this is your right eye, and let's ask this question, okay? Are all of these components in your right eye happy? And let's see what the answer is. And guess what? The answer is no. So this is another way, all right, to actually zero in on things that's really kind of fun. And of course, like I said, there was no way that we could put all of the pictures of every piece of anatomy down to the cellular level in the body code. It just, you know, couldn't be done. But this is something that you can do. You can go on Google, you can find a picture of, and this applies to whatever it is you're working on, doesn't really matter, but you can go down into a deeper level and you can say, all right, is everything in this case, your right eye, we'll just start with one eye at a time, is everything in this picture happy with your right eye? And your body says, no way. So that immediately opens things up on a whole nother level for us. So let's see what shows up. We'll start with the cornea. Again, we're looking at the right eye. Is your cornea happy? Yes. That in the anterior chamber of your eye, do you see where I am? I'm on the left side, right at the very front of the eye. Let's just go down the list. Is that anterior chamber, is that happy? Is the next one down, the posterior chamber, is that happy? Your suspensory ligaments, are those suspensory ligaments happy? Oh, guess what? I get a no. So we've got an imbalance going with the suspensory ligaments in the eye. Now you'd have to have a huge, huge body code to be able to find, you know, everything like this. But this is just a little trick that I've learned over the years. Your suspensory ligaments are not happy. Now, let's take a look at this. Check this out. Let's go to Google really quick. All right, so if we search for images, we can then even go a little deeper. So let's just look up the suspensory ligaments, okay, of the eye. There's more of these than one, but the suspensory ligaments of the eye. Let's see if we can zoom in on this even a little bit more, because what those ligaments do is really important. Oh, here's a great picture. Look at this one. Oh, actually not a very good picture, but you see the lens here? This is the lens of the eye. Now, when you're having a hard time focusing, and that's really what's happened with you, right? When you have to hold the book out further and further and further away. What's going on is that the lens is not able to take the same shape that it was taking before. Here you've got muscles that help to tighten down and change the shape of the lens, right? But what's happening is there's something wrong with these ligaments. We found out. That's what your body said. So you can see the same thing here, but not in quite as much detail. So isn't that interesting? So what we're looking at here is these tiny ligaments right in there. Your suspensory ligaments are not happy. Now, to kill two birds with one stone, we could ask, okay, well, are they unhappy in the left eye as well? And the answer is yes. Are they unhappy for the same reason? Yeah, okay. So those ligaments are unhappy. Now, check it out. Now what we can do is now we go to the body code, because there's probably an underlying reason why they're not happy, right? What's the underlying reason? Is there an underlying reason why they're not happy? And the answer is yes. So let's go to the body code. We'll go back out to the home page and let's ask, okay, this is fun. Why are these suspensory ligaments not happy? There's a reason. Is the reason on the right side of the body code? No. So it's on the left side. So is it a toxin of some kind? No. Is it some imbalance in circuitry or systems? No. So it's some kind of energy. All right, is it something on the left side of our chart here? Yes, it is. Is it something post-traumatic? Yes, it is. Okay. So is it something on the left side of this chart? Yes. Is it a psychic trauma? No, it's a physical trauma energy. That's interesting. Now remember, a physical trauma energy is usually from some kind of a physical blow. Boom, you get hit in an accident or you fall down or whatever, but sometimes it's also from emotional trauma that's perceived as physical. What's going on here? Is this actually from a physical blow that you took? Yeah, this is a physical trauma. And that physical trauma energy is imbalancing those suspensory ligaments. Physical trauma. Do we need to know more about this? We don't. Does that ring any kind of a bell? Anything that you can think of? This might not have been anything major, but I don't know. Might have been.
No, it doesn't ring a bell at all, really, because we're talking, what, 3, 4 years ago? No, I don't think so. Like I said before, I was thinking more of a metaphysical thing, rather than a physical thing. But that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, let's see what this is. Let's see when this occurred. How old are you right now, did you say?
I'm 50. I've just turned 50 now.
Okay, 50. So this physical trauma energy, when did this happen to you? Did it happen earlier than 40, between 40 and 45? Okay, I get a yes on 40 to 45. Did it occur around age 45 or age 44, 43, 42? Around age 42. So, that may help. I don't know, something happened. Do we need to know more about it? We don't. Let's go ahead and release it. Okay. All right, now, did we release that? Yes, we did. Okay, so now let's go back to our picture here. And remember, we found the little suspensory ligaments unhappy. Are the suspensory ligaments in both eyes, are they happy now? Yes or no? No, they're not. But see, if we can make those ligaments happy, that may suddenly change the way the lens is able to change its shape, see? So let's see. I'm just going to put and. They're unhappy due to another issue. And let's see what the other issue is. We'll go back to the Bodycode homepage. What's the next underlying reason for these suspensory ligaments to be unhappy? Is it something on the left side of the chart? Yes, it is. Is it something in the energies area? No. Is it something in circuitry and systems? Yes. Okay, is it on the left side of the chart? Yes. Is it an acupuncture system imbalance? No, it's not. Is it a disconnection? Yes. Okay, is it something on the left side of the chart? Yes, it is. So it's physical to physical. So here we go. Let's see. Physical to physical. Whoops. Physical to physical disconnection. And so just out of curiosity, if we go back to our picture and we look at this, they're disconnected from something. Are they disconnected from the lens? Are they disconnected from the muscles here, the ciliary body and the muscles and so on? That's exactly what it is. So disconnection. So it's between the ligaments and the muscles that power them, essentially, is what it is. Okay. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Here you got the little tiny, tiny, tiny muscles, and there you got the tiny ligaments, and they're not talking. So is there an underlying reason for this? Yes. Okay, so here we go. The ligaments are unhappy because of this disconnection, but this disconnection is due to something else. Let's see what that is. We'll go back to the home page. Is this disconnection due to something on the right side of our chart? No, it's on the left side. Is it an energy? Yes, it is. We'll go in here. Oops. And this is something on the left side here or the right. Okay, is it addictive heart energy, allergy, intolerance? Is something emotional for sure? Is it a trapped emotion? Yes, it is. So it's a trapped emotion. Is it listed in column A? Is it in one of the odd rows? Yes. Is it in row 1? Yes, it is. Is the emotion abandonment? No. Is it betrayal? No. Is it forlorn? No. Lost? No. Love and received? No. It's inherited. So let's see. All right. This is kind of fun, right?
Yeah, I love it.
All right. So is this inherited abandonment? No. Is it inherited betrayal? Mm-mm. Inherited forlorn? It's inherited forlorn from your... Did you get it from your father? You got it from your mother. Okay. Did she get it from somebody earlier? From her mother. Ooh. Did she get it from somebody earlier from her mother? Yes. Did she get it from her mother? Okay, so we see the pattern. So does this emotion stay in the mother's line all the way back? Yes, it does. And it goes back further? Yes. How many generations? Does it go back 5? Does it go back 10? Yes. Does it go back 15? Yes. Does it go back 20? Yes. Wow, this is an old one. Does it go back 25 generations? Yes. Does it go back 30? Oh my gosh, I rarely see them that go back this far. Does it go back 35? Does it go back 40? Does it go back 45? No, 40. Does it go back 41, 42, 43? 42 generations. Holy smokes. 42 generations, mother's line the whole way. That's pretty wild. So if we figure 42 generations times 22 generations, that's almost 1,000 years. That goes back to the year 1091. I mean, that's like back to the Norman Conquest or something. I don't know, 1091 AD. Wow. Okay, do we need to know more about this? Do we need to know more about this? No, we don't. So, now see, the cool thing about this is, when we release something like this, remember, from all those generations back, if you go back to that grandmother of yours, back around 1091, whenever, give or take, maybe 50 years or something, how many people now would be in her downstream genealogy chart? A lot of people, right? I mean, who knows? And what we're going to do right now is we're going to release this inherited forlorn from her and all of the 42 generations in between, and all, everybody that's downstream from that grandmother. And so suddenly a whole bunch of people may have an improvement in their eyesight.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, hey, why not? So let's go ahead. Do we need to know more about this? No, we don't. I'm going to go ahead and release this now. So 10 swipes. Well, you think about it, and there we go. You think about it, and really, is it normal for people to have nearsightedness, and is it normal for people to have all these weird things? Well, we think it's normal because everybody wears glasses, etc., and people get a little older, and just like your doctor said, oh, it's normal, you're over 50, but what's really going on there? Well, maybe this is part of it. So, did we release that from you and all those your mom and all those other grandmothers? Yes. And from all those intervening, all those other people downstream from her? Yes. Okay. All right. So how do we find that? Well, there was a disconnection in there between the ligaments and the muscles, right? And it was actually due to this inherited emotion of forlorn from 42 generations ago. So now let's come back and look at these little suspensory ligaments that are holding that lens there. And let's ask, are those ligaments happy now? And the answer is yes, they're happy now.
Ah, yay!
Now, here's what I want you to do. I'd like you to stand up for a minute, walk around. Okay?
Yeah.
Just so we can kind of let things settle into place. And why don't you just grab grab your cell phone or a book or something and take a look at it, and let's see if those lenses are better able to focus now. Just out of curiosity, just want to see. Sometimes changes take place right away. Sometimes they take a little time, but a lot of the time the changes take place right away. So let's just see what happens.
Well, it's not perfect. No. I can make some words out. Maybe it's getting easier. I don't know if that's because I'm focusing on it now.
Okay. Well,
we may have to wait a little bit.
yeah, that's fine. Give it some time. Let's see how it goes. And there may be some other issues too, right? So let's,
It's still definitely clearer. I can read it with my glasses on.
yeah, sure.
But if I take them off, it's
Okay.
yeah, not clear.
All right, that's fine. Well, let's take a look at, let's continue now. We've made the suspensory ligaments happy. That's important. So let's go down to the next one and let's ask, all right, is the ciliary body in both eyes and those muscles, are those happy? Yes. Okay, let's look at the muscles. Let's look at the lens. Is the lens happy? No, your lens is not happy. So here's another thing we need to look at, okay? Now, is the lens unhappy in both of your eyes? Yes. And are those lenses unhappy for the same reasons? Yes. Those lenses are both unhappy. Well, how do we figure it out? We go to the Bodycode and let's ask, all right, is there an underlying reason why both of those lenses of yours are unhappy? Yes. Is the reason on the left side of the chart? Yes. Is it an energy? Is it something on the left side of the chart? No. Is it something emotional? Yes. All right. So there is something emotional going on. Is it a trapped emotion? Yes. Is it in column A? Yes. Is it in column B? Yeah, it's in column A. So is it in one of the odd rows in column A? Is it in row 1 or row 3 or row 5? It's in row 5 in column A. Is the emotion blaming? Is it dread? Fear? There's an emotion of fear. Trapped emotion of fear. Do we need to know more about this? Yeah, yes, we actually do. So let's see when this occurred. You're 50. Did this occur earlier than age 20? Oh, actually it did. Did it occur earlier than 10? No. Did it occur between 10 and 15? No. Around 16 or 17 or 18? This goes back to around age 18. Now you might have been 17 or maybe 19, but does that ring any kind of a bell?
Yeah. Fear at 17, yeah.
Okay. So you think about that for a moment and I'll ask, is that what created this? Yes. Okay. So it was actually age 17. All right, that's fine. So, all right, do we need to know more about this? No, we don't. But let's ask this question, okay? This fear emotion is affecting the lens, right? Both eyes. So what I would like to know is, all right, normally we think of a trapped emotion as being a ball of energy from about the size of a baseball to the size of a cantaloupe, right? That's what we normally think of. However, here we have a trapped emotion that's imbalancing the lens in both eyes. So I'm kind of curious about this trapped emotion. Is this trapped emotion, it's affecting both eyes, and if we were to visualize this trapped emotion, would it actually be the size of a baseball or cantaloupe? No. Is it actually confined to within the eyes? Yes. And is it actually confined to the lens itself? Yes, it is. Now, think about this. Imagine taking a trapped emotion and stuffing it inside of the lens of your eye. That's what's happened here. Think about this. Okay, now this is really kind of weird, but remember that, I mean, to us, a trapped emotion has to be the way that we're used to thinking of things. It has to be a ball of energy the size of a baseball or the size of a cantaloupe. What's happening here in your eyes, when this trapped emotion formed, apparently it confined itself to the lenses of both eyes. Is that true?
But this could be metaphysical, could it not? Because again, the fear was from something I didn't want to see.
Well, yeah, oh, definitely, yeah, sure. There's always, well, not always, but there often is a metaphysical component to things, and that's why the trapped emotion went to the lenses. But see, now what's happening is it's making the lenses unhappy. So there's this energy. But the fascinating thing about this is, I mean, if we could put your body through a scanner, some futuristic scanner that would detect trapped emotions, if we set the dial on fear so that it would show us, so that any areas of trapped emotion that were the emotion of fear that were stuck in your body, so they would show up and glow red, what we would see is these two tiny little lenses would start glowing. So your body would look like, like a cat when you shine a light on a cat, right? That's what it would look like. It's really kind of interesting. All right, fear from age 17, trapped in both lenses. We need to know more about this. No. So this is something that I learned a long, long time ago. We don't talk about this much, but what can happen is when you have a trapped emotion, sometimes that trapped emotion, I mean, usually it's like a ball of energy, but sometimes the trapped emotion will seem to assume the shape of the capsule surrounding an organ or a gland or something, right? Because it's kind of a natural boundary. And so that energy will fill up that whole liver, or will fill up the whole pancreas or the whole heart or whatever. In this case, this emotion went right into the lenses, and it filled up the lenses, and it didn't go outside of that outer boundary of the lenses. So let's go ahead and release this. Here we go. All right, and do we release that emotion of fear? Yes, we did. Okay. Did that release? And of course, now you might think, well, wait a minute, that was one trapped emotion, but it was in both eyes, and it was separated? How does that work? Well, remember the principle of non-locality in physics that says that one emotion or one energy can be in more than one place at one time. And that's exactly what happened here. It kind of just got stuck in both eyes at the same moment. All right, cool. So are your lenses happy now? Yes, they are. All right, cool. So so now we can continue on, and we can just take a look at this picture, the whole picture now, and we can ask, all right, are all of these components that are listed in this photo, are all of these components that are in your right eye, are they all happy now? Yes, they are. Are all these components in your left eye happy now? Actually, yes, they are. So what I'd like you to do now is go ahead and let's, just grab something. And again, changes like this kind of creep up gradually, but sometimes changes take place right away. So I always like to have people take a look. Go ahead and take a look and grab something and see if you can, try to bring it a little closer.
Okay.
And, just see if it's changed anything. And maybe the change won't take place for a while, and maybe it won't take place at all. I just work here. Right? But maybe it's changed
I
already.
can't see anything too noticeable, but I could feel the release of energy when you did that.
Cool.
Both on the inherited one and the fear, I could feel some kind of lightness. So
Awesome.
I'm feeling very confident that something's happened. But no, I mean, if I take my glasses off, I'm at arm's length, and I am still struggling. But
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, let us know how you do. Now, another thing that we can do is this picture does not really include everything. Remember that we've got these other muscles. So if we look at a picture like this is another important thing that we can do, is we can look at these muscles, and let's just imagine this is your right eye, and we'll ask, are all of these muscles in your right eye happy? And they are. Are all of these muscles in your left eye happy? And they are. So now another thing that we can do is we can take a look at the whole tract here with the nerves. And the beautiful thing about it is your subconscious mind knows exactly what's going on. It knows if everything's happy here or not. So let's just look at this picture. And remember that here we're looking from the bottom of the brain up. Okay. So what we see, the right eye here is on the right side of the picture, and the left eye is on the left side of the picture. But we're looking at the brain from the bottom, right? Did I get that wrong? Left eye is on the right side of the picture, and the right eye is on the left side of the picture. Not that it makes too much difference, but let's just ask: is everything, or all these elements in this picture, happy in your body? Are they all happy? And guess what? No, they are not all happy. So let's take a look and see what's unhappy. All right, and yeah, we're getting a little short on time here, but let's just look now. I want to teach you guys how to do this yourself. See, that's the whole point. But let's look at the eyeballs first. Are they happy? Yes. Are the retinas happy? Yeah, we looked at that already. Is the optic nerve happy in both eyes? Is the optic chiasm happy? Is the optic tract happy in both eyes? Yes. Or in both, in your body. In your body, you've got two of them. Are they both happy? Yes. Let's look at the lateral geniculate nucleus of the thalamus. That's a mouthful. Is that area happy in your body? Oh, no, it's not. So there's something going on there. So is the left one in your left brain, is that one happy? Is the right one happy? Neither one of them are happy. So I'm just going to abbreviate this: lateral geniculate nucleus of the thalamus. Okay? It's unhappy. Those are unhappy for some reason. Are they unhappy for the same reason? Yes, they are. Okay? So here we go. Let's go back to the body code. Is there an underlying reason why these little areas are not happy? Yes. Is the reason on the right side of our chart? No. So is it it's in the left area? Is it an energy? It's in here, yes. Is it something on the left side of this chart? No, it's on the right. So is it addictive heart energy or an allergy or an intolerance? It's definitely something emotional. Is this a trapped emotion? Yes, it is. Is it listed in column A? No. So it's in column B. Is it in one of the odd rows in column B? Mm-hmm. Is it in row 1, column B, row 3, column B, row 5, column B? So is the emotion conflict? No. Is it creative insecurity? No. Is it terror or unsupported or wishy-washy? No, it's an inherited emotion. An inherited trapped emotion, and let's see what it is. Is it inherited conflict? Inherited creative insecurity? That's it. It's inherited creative insecurity. From who? Did you get this from your mother? No, it came from your dad. Did he get it from somebody earlier? From his father, from his mother? Did she get it from somebody earlier? From mother, from father? Did he get it from somebody earlier? From father, from mother? Father's mother's father's mother. Okay, so that's an interesting pattern. Does this go back further? Yes, it does. Does it stay in this same pattern all the way? Yes, it does. Now, why these things do this sometimes, we don't know, right? But how many generations back does this go? Does it go back 10? Yes. Does it go back 20? Yes. Does it go back 30? No. 25, 24, 23, 22, goes back 22 generations. So if we say 22 times 22 minus 2015 comes out to about 1531. All right. Now, do we need to know more about this? No, we don't. So let's go ahead and release this creative insecurity that you got from your dad. That goes back all of those 22 generations. We'll release this. Good to get rid of this stuff. Man.
Yeah, I could feel it.
Yeah. That last one was intense, too. 42 generations.
Yeah.
All right, now, how do we find that? Well, we're trying to figure out what was making these little areas of your brain unhappy. So now let's come back to these areas and ask, all right, these little areas, I'm not even going to name them, these little areas of your brain, are they happy now? Yes, they are. Cool. So let's continue on here, and let's just ask, is there anything in this picture, any of these things listed, that are unhappy in your brain? And the answer is no. So they're all happy in your brain. All right, cool. So here's what we'll do. Deborah, let us know how you do. And
yeah, will do.
Yeah, let us know what happens. And so basically, this is kind of, this is how we do it. So we use the body code, but we also use Google Images or Bing search or Yahoo image search or whatever, it doesn't matter. Some kind of an image search tool to actually blow up things and go to deeper levels. And sometimes you can go right down, and sometimes you might need to go right down into a level like this, and you can just ask questions and just see what shows up, and the subconscious mind knows with a perfect understanding, and it goes down just as deep as you need to go. Okay, so
I have to tell you, Dr. Brad, I have to tell you that I don't have my glasses on. I just took them off and I'm reading the screen.
Oh,
I can read what's on the screen. And I don't have my glasses on. I just sat there and I suddenly thought, because it's not as clear as if I had my glasses on, but normally I wouldn't be able to read it at all.
Oh, good.
Whereas now I can read it.
Cool. Well, hopefully this is just the beginning
It's a big word.
Improvement, right? Hopefully.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Have a great day. And
oh, thank you. I will.
thanks for being our volunteer. All right. Fantastic. Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, but I think that that's kind of what it, what it took for me to show you how this is done. You think outside the box, and you just ask questions. You use the body code to find the underlying reasons why things are unhappy, but you can look at pictures like this and just ask, are all of these things happy in my own brain or my own eye or whatever? Are all of these muscles happy? And it just makes it so simple Because if you ask, the subconscious mind is so incredibly powerful. If you ask a picture like this, are all of these elements in my right eye happy? You're either going to get a yes that they are, or you're going to get a no that they are not. And if you get a no, then you can start tracking them down. And it's just a really fun way to zero in on things and find things that you otherwise might not be able to find. So ask yourself these questions. Can anyone be a healer? Really? Can I be a healer? And the answer is yes. The Bodycode makes healing not only possible, but simple and easy for anyone. And birthright is defined as a right, privilege, or possession to which a person is entitled to by birth. And healing is your birthright. It's time to take it back. If you don't have the Bodycode already, you need to get it. It's the most complete course, most complete self-study course on energy healing that's available in the world. Easily learned by anybody without any previous training. Easily done long distance, as you've seen on the call today. And you can even get certified as a practitioner. So more information and support, you can reach us at healerslibrary.com, bodycodehealing.com, drbradleynelson.com, and we're on Facebook at facebook.com/Dr. Bradley Nelson or facebook.com/Healers Library. I want to thank all of you for being on the call today. That was really fun. Hopefully that was informative for all of you. It was a lot of fun for me. Deborah, keep us posted. Let us know how you do, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. We will talk again soon.